remember, while it is election and presidential polls for the USA, it may actually also decide how a lot of global issues may also be decided. So we'll have a lot of expert panelists on the ground to tell you about this pivotal day for the USA. Now, millions of voters set to head to the ballot and candidates making their final pitch. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris have been rallying their supporters with strong, direct, sharp, crisp messages. Kamala Harris has appealed for a fresh start for America, urging voters to pick a president who can uplift everyone, warning against falling for what she called as Trump's tactics on election fraud. Kamala Harris is also stressing the importance of addressing the ongoing conflicts and wars, saying hostages need to be saved, war needs to end, specifically for Israel-Gaza. Now, that's what Kamala Harris is saying. What about former President Donald Trump, who intends a return? He's criticizing the Democrat Party, even labeled it as a demonic party, promising that he will fix everything that Harris and Biden have broken. Now, his issues have been at the border, stating that army of gangs and criminals has been unleashed on us. Trump has also emphasized the urgency to save the American economy.
I would ask, in particular, people who have not yet voted, to not fall for his tactic, which I think includes suggesting to people that if they vote, their vote won't matter. Suggesting to people that somehow the integrity of our voting system is not intact so that they don't vote. And again, I think that it is a tactic. It is meant to distract from the fact that we have and support free and fair elections in our country. We did in 2020. He lost. And the systems that are in place for this election in 2024 have integrity. They are good systems, and the vote of the people will determine the outcome of this election, and everyone must know that their vote is their power to determine the outcome of the election, and their vote will count. It does matter.
Whichever way it swings, there are going to be a lot of very upset people. I'm kind of hoping that the people who know how to regulate themselves and like their emotions can like kind of be mature about things and like kind of be anchors and like stand their ground, because like no matter who is elected, I think it's important to like remember to be like what it means to be a patriot.
I'm just feeling hope for the most part. No matter the outcome, I just want everyone to be civil. You know, stay united as one country and one people, and no matter who is elected, united we can accomplish anything. Okay. So that's the main thing I want, just peace.
Okay. The whole campus is very stressed about what's going to occur and what policies are really going to happen in the next 4 years, and so we're going to see what happens.
I think the country's moving in a good direction. There's a lot of issues, but I'm hopeful to move forward and hopefully vote with unity versus fear. So I'm excited to hopefully put everything past us. And I think whatever we do, we always have that American pride. So I think we can always move forward and learn to work with each other on the other side.
Donald Trump will be in Florida. He is going to be voting in Florida. Now remember, he moved his base from New York City to Florida after he lost the 2020 election. So he is a registered voter in Florida, and he would be going to vote at an election center in Florida tomorrow. Vice President Kamala Harris has already mailed in her ballot. Remember the mail-in ballots, the postal ballots? She's already done that because she is a resident of California, and she's already done that. So has her running mate Walz. Tim Walz has also voted in this election by mail-in ballot. Joe Biden, on the other hand, will also be in D.C. tomorrow. He has already done in-person early voting in his home state of Delaware, and he's staying put right here in Washington, D.C., watching from the sidelines what America decides tomorrow. Tomorrow, Vice President Kamala Harris, she will be in Washington, D.C., and she will be going to Harvard University, where she graduated from. And she is going to be having an election watch party and a speech right after. Now, these are the traditional speeches that you see, you've probably seen multiple times that candidates make after winning or losing an election. Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Washington, D.C. to be her base on election night, and President Trump is going to be in West Palm Beach Convention Center in Florida. There are still a lot of undecided voters in this election. and those are the ones that will determine the fate of America. This is Rohit Sharma for India Today, reporting in Washington, D.C.
Remember that this is a high-stake battle. For Kamala Harris, she's been consistently mentioning her immigrant background and how the struggles that she's faced to come up, and this has come to her in the USA, reflective of how there needs to be an all-inclusive upliftment for everyone, and that's what good politics, as she says, should be done in the USA. Donald Trump, meanwhile, has taken a more conservative approach to say our borders need a more stringent immigration process so that only the best can come in. There are criminals and gangs at the border. We have to work against that. These are some of the issues that are perhaps right now with the final mentions. So then, let's bring in with a live update coming in from my colleague Rohit Sharma. He's in Washington, D.C. Rohit, also tell us about what the procedure and the process is going to be in the morning. Already, I'm sure people are ready. Possibly they have decided who they are going to vote for. High-stake battles for the candidates. But how has the administration prepared for the election season?
Well, look, there were a lot of challenges. Remember, Pooja, in 2020, when the elections were held in America, there was a lot of furor about the mail-in ballots and, how they would be
Correct.
counted or not. And America has made, and state level, look, counting in America is done at the state level. Elections, every state manages its own election, which is quite different in a sense when you compare it to India. So every state, every county have their own rules and regulation. There have been improvements. For example, in certain states, they have already tallied the early votes. Remember, America votes in three ways. There is early voting. You can go to an election center and vote. You can do a mail-in ballot, which is your postal ballot, and then you can go on vote on the election day, which is tomorrow, Tuesday, November 5th. So some states are tallying their votes already, which means all they have to do is push a button and they would know which candidate is leading. And then they actually have to wait until the poll close time. Some of the swing states will start opening up the election centers tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., mostly on the East Coast, and everybody can vote until they are in the line, which basically means, Pooja, and this is very important detail, polls might close at 7 p.m., but if you're in the line to vote, they have to extend the time. So essentially, if I turn up at 6:55 and I said I have to vote,
Interesting.
and if there's a huge line around the block, they will have to take everybody in to vote. So that is what causes some delays. And we've seen that. And again, important detail again, Pooja. Election day in America is not a holiday. It's not a public holiday. People go into work. So you will see lines early in the morning. You will see lines during the day, in
Okay.
lunch hour, and then late after 5 p.m. And that is what delays the counting that starts right after the
Interesting.
poll close.